Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into the stories that shaped our childhoods. Today, we're revisiting a classic fairy tale, but with a fresh perspective. Hans Christian Andersen's The Princess and the Pea. Now you might remember it as a quirky story about a girl who's a bit of a diva about her bedding. But what if I told you this tale is actually a profound exploration of what it means to be truly noble? It's not about titles or tiaras. It's about the sensitivity and authenticity that lie within. So grab a comfy seat, hopefully one without any peas, and let's unravel the hidden wisdom of this timeless story. Once upon a time, in a kingdom shimmering with hope, lived a young prince. This wasn't your typical prince, content with hunting and courtly dances. He carried a question in his heart, a deep longing that set him apart. He wanted to marry a princess, yes, but not just any princess. He was searching for a true princess. But what did that even mean? For him, it had nothing to do with the size of her kingdom or the sparkle of her crown. He was looking for a princess of the spirit, someone whose nobility was woven into the very fabric of her being. He sought a heart that beat with kindness, a soul that radiated honesty, and a spirit so finely tuned it could feel the world's subtle joys and sorrows. It was a quest for a kindred spirit, a partner whose inner wealth far outshone any material riches. And so, with this noble purpose guiding him, the prince set off on a journey across the world, determined to find the one who would complete his story. The prince's journey took him to the grandest courts and most opulent palaces imaginable. He met princesses famed for their dazzling beauty, their skin as flawless as polished marble, and their laughter like tinkling bells. He was introduced to princesses renowned for their incredible talents. One could play the harp so divinely that birds would stop to listen. Another could paint landscapes that seemed more real than life itself. He even met princesses who commanded vast armies and ruled with sharp, strategic minds. They were all impressive, presenting their credentials of royalty with pride and poise. But as the prince spent time with each one, a quiet disappointment began to settle in his heart. The beautiful princess was often vain, more concerned with her reflection than the world around her. The talented princess was so focused on her art that she had little room for empathy. The powerful princess saw people as pawns in a political game. He found riches, skills, and beauty in abundance. But the genuine spirit, the deep, unassuming kindness, and the raw, honest sensitivity he so desperately sought, remained elusive. Each encounter, though polite and pleasant, felt hollow. He was searching for a soul's melody, but all he heard was the polished, predictable performance of royalty. After months, which turned into years of fruitless searching, a weary and disheartened prince finally turned his horse towards home. His grand tour of the world had yielded nothing but a collection of polite rejections and a heavier heart. He had seen the world's most eligible princesses, but none had touched his soul. He returned to his castle, the gates closing behind him with a somber thud that echoed his own sense of finality. He had failed. The hope that had once burned so brightly within him was now just a flicker. He resigned himself to the idea that perhaps a true princess was just a fantasy, a character from a storybook, not someone who existed in the real world. His kingdom, once full of anticipation, settled into a quiet melancholy. The search was over. Then, one night, the heavens themselves seemed to weep with the prince's sorrow. A storm of epic proportions descended upon the kingdom. Thunder cracked like the sky was breaking apart, and lightning tore across the darkness, illuminating sheets of rain that fell so hard it was like a waterfall from the clouds. The wind howled and shrieked, rattling the castle's ancient windows, and making even the bravest guards feel a shiver of fear. It was a night fit for neither man nor beast to be out. But amidst this terrifying symphony of nature, there came a faint, desperate knocking at the castle gate. The old king himself went to see who could possibly be out in such a tempest. There, standing drenched and shivering, was a young woman, Water streamed from her hair and clothes, running in rivers from the tips of her shoes. She looked as though she had been pulled from the very heart of the storm. Yet when she spoke, her voice, though trembling with cold, held a quiet dignity. She looked the old king in the eye and said, "I am a princess." Her name, she explained, was Ilara. She had lost her carriage, her attendants, everything, except her name and the unshakable spirit that shone in her eyes. The old queen, a woman of great wisdom and perhaps a touch of skepticism, heard the young woman's claim. A princess, arriving in such a state? It was highly unusual. While the prince saw only a damsel in distress, the queen saw an opportunity for a test, a very peculiar one. She decided to find out if this girl, Ilara, possessed the extraordinary sensitivity that, in her mind, was the hallmark of true, delicate nobility. Quietly, she went to the guest chamber. She ordered the servants to strip the bed entirely. On the bare bedstead, she placed a single, tiny, hard green pea. It was almost invisible against the wood. Then, the real work began. On top of this single pea, she had the servants stack 20 thick mattresses. And as if that weren't enough, on top of the mattresses, they piled 20 of the softest, fluffiest eiderdown feather beds. It was a tower of comfort, a bed so high that Princess Ilara would need a small ladder to climb into it. The queen surveyed her work with a knowing smile. If this girl was truly a princess of the highest order, her senses would be so refined that she would feel the tiny imperfection, even through this mountain of bedding. The test was set. The kingdom's future, and the prince's happiness, now rested on one little pea. That night, Princess Ilara was shown to her magnificent room. She was grateful for the warmth and shelter, and she looked at the towering bed with tired eyes. After climbing the ladder, she sank into what should have been the most comfortable bed in the world. But as she tried to settle, she felt something. A small, hard lump pressing into her back. She tossed and turned, trying to find a comfortable position, but it was no use. The sensation, though faint, was persistent and irritating. It felt like she was lying on a rock. How could this be? Through 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds. The night was long and restless. She barely slept a wink, her body aching from the mysterious lump. The next morning, when the queen came to greet her, she asked kindly, "And how did you sleep, my dear?" Ilara, too honest to pretend, replied with a weary sigh, "Oh, wretchedly! I have scarcely closed my eyes all night. Heaven knows what was in the bed, but I was lying on something hard, so that I am black and blue all over my body. It's horrible." The moment Ilara spoke those words, a collective gasp went through the room. The prince, who had been watching with anxious hope, felt his heart leap. The queen smiled, her test a resounding success. Ilara's honesty and her genuine discomfort were the proof they needed. Only a true princess, someone with an incredibly refined and delicate sensitivity, could have possibly felt a single pea through such an immense pile of bedding. Her complaint wasn't a sign of being spoiled. It was a testament to her innate, extraordinary nature. This sensitivity wasn't just physical. It was a metaphor for a deeper, more profound awareness, an ability to perceive the subtle truths and feelings that most people would miss entirely. She was not just a princess by name. She was a princess in spirit, in her very essence. The pea was merely the tool that revealed the truth that had been there all along. The prince looked at Ilara, not as a drenched stranger anymore, but as the soulmate he had traveled the world to find. He saw her honesty, her vulnerability, and the incredible spirit that made her feel the world so deeply. He had finally found his true princess. And so, the prince knew without a shadow of a doubt that he had found his one true love. He and Princess Ilara were married in a joyful celebration that filled the entire kingdom with light and laughter. The little pea, the unlikely instrument of fate, was given a place of honor. It was placed in the Royal Museum, a treasured artifact for all to see, a tiny, humble reminder of a great truth. Their story became a legend, a testament to the idea that true nobility isn't something you wear or inherit like a crown or a castle. It isn't about wealth, power, or even polished manners. True nobility, the story teaches us, is an inner quality. It's found in the sensitivity of the heart, the honesty of the soul, and the kindness of the spirit. It's the ability to feel deeply, to speak truthfully, and to connect with others on a genuine level. Princess Ilara's worth wasn't in a title she had lost, but in the character she had retained. Her story, and her marriage to the prince, became a beautiful symbol, reminding everyone that the most valuable treasures are the ones we carry within ourselves. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into The Princess and the Pea. It is amazing how a simple story can hold such a powerful message about character and inner worth. What do you think? Does this change how you see the story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your perspectives. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more explorations of the stories we thought we knew. Your support means the world. Until next time, stay curious and remember to look for the nobility within.